What is up, everybody? Ryan Malinowski here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about 6 ways why athletes make for great entrepreneurs. Let's dive in.
Ryan Malinowski.
So if you're watching this video, you're probably either an athlete or you were an athlete previously, or you lie somewhere on that spectrum. And to give you context on my background just for 20 seconds, I previously was an NCAA student athlete. I played professional ice hockey overseas in Europe for many years and transitioned into tech in the business world. So I have faced a lot of the firsthand experience of different things that transition over well from athletics into business. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about 6 traits that I think a lot of athletes carry with them, and it really helps in the business world. So we're going to dive into those right now. The first of those being perseverance. As an athlete, we've all faced times where we've had to face and persevere, whether maybe you were down in a game and it looked like an uphill battle, it wasn't going to work. Maybe you had an injury and you came back from it. We've all experienced this. And a great quote on perseverance is from Thomas Edison. And the quote goes, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 reasons and ways that don't work." And this is a great quote because it relates a lot to athletics. Maybe you were cut from a team and you had to prove doubters wrong. Maybe you couldn't beat the #1 team in your conference and your team was able to overcome that. Maybe you were able to get a personal record or whatever the case might be. And this will drastically help you in the business world, whatever your pursuits are. So #1 is perseverance. The second one, #2, is teamwork. We know that in order to succeed at a high level, being able to work together with other people is extremely important. And as being an athlete, in the majority of sports, you will have to work in some capacity with teammates. It's not always easy, but as an athlete, you know how to work with people. It's not always going to be happy times, but you are able to be a good teammate. You're able to trust, rely on one another, and this can help you tremendously in the business world. A great quote is from Igor Larionov, and whether you're a hockey fan or not, just to give you a little bit of context, Igor Larionov was a Russian hockey player. He won a couple Stanley Cups, was on the Soviet national team, and the Soviets were very dominant on the world stage in ice hockey for many decades. And he had an amazing quote, and his quote went as follows: "You didn't have to see your line mate when you were on the ice. You could smell him. We could have honestly played blind." And what he was saying was that their team, him and his teammates, the other 5 players on the ice with him, they were so accustomed to playing with one another that they already knew where the other player was going to be at all times. All 5 of them trusted one another and they worked within their system, and this helped them tremendously. And they weren't just 5 individuals out on the ice playing. They were playing as one cohesive unit, and their team had a ton more strength because of that. Whether, depending on what sport you played as an athlete, you know that working together well in a team can really tremendously help you. Teams, the longer you work together, a lot of certain things start to click after a while. The same thing happens, and you can carry over that same trait really well into the business world. So that's #2, teamwork. The third trait is stubbornness. Now, stubbornness, a lot of people can look at stubbornness as a negative trait and characteristic to have. I look at stubbornness in some sense as it can be a positive thing to have, because if you're going to put a dent, whether big or small, in the world, you're going to have some stubbornness in sense that when you hit hard times or trouble along the way, you're going to have to be stubborn in somewhat of a sense to push through it and make whatever you want to become a reality. Obviously, you can't just be extremely stubborn all the time, but having some stubbornness along the way, it is a trait that in athletics, maybe you're like, hey, you know what, we're down a few points, but we're going to come back. And you're like, I don't care, I'm going to, push through it, whatever the situation is. Stubbornness isn't always a negative trait. So I think that a lot of athletes carry stubbornness, and it actually helps them and is a benefit. So that is the third one of our list of 6, so stubbornness. Number 4 is work ethic. We all have been on teams in the past where we have had someone along the way, whether when we were younger or a little bit older, where someone on your team was so extremely talented naturally, but they were just lazy. And we know what happens. Your talent will only take you so far. Yes, it can take you to a certain level, but if you don't have the drive, the passion, and the work ethic, you're gonna max out at a certain point and won't get better. And if you have a strong work ethic, no matter what, if it's in athletics, entrepreneurship, if you're an employee in a company, whatever situation you're in, having a strong work ethic consistently is gonna help pay a ton of dividends. So if you had a strong work ethic as an athlete, this is gonna help put you ahead of so many people in the business world, because you know, hey, when I show up in the morning and get there, I wanna bring as much value as possible to help and offer value and to take action on what it is you wanna do in the world. So number 4, work ethic is super important. And a great quote that I love regarding work ethic is from motivational speaker Eric Thomas. You might be familiar with him. His speeches have gone pretty viral online, on social media, on YouTube. And his main quote, that his first speech that went viral, was, "When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful." And if you think about that quote again, it's extremely deep. When you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. Think about when you go underwater and you hold your breath and you're like, man, I want to get up. And if you think about that in terms of succeeding, it's a really kind of a deep quote. And I always have liked that one for a number of years. So number 4 is work ethic. Number 5 is goal setting. We've all had to set goals at one point or another, and a lot of times people that are athletes are really good at setting realistic goals because you have gone through sports in different seasons and over time and setting goals. Let's say you have an individual goal where you're like, hey, I want to get to this level by the end of the year, or hit like a personal record, or get this many wins, or if your team's like, we want to finish in this standing, or make it to the championship game, or win the conference, whatever the specific situation is, you're accustomed to setting goals. And we all know that if you just say, hey, I want to get from here, point A, to point B over here, and you don't set goals, that's like saying, hey, I want to get over there, I don't know how to get there, but I'm not creating a roadmap along the way. If you set goals, what you're doing is, you know this just as well as I do, of you're taking small intentional steps every day towards your goal. And when you do this, whether it's in athletics or in the business world, you're going to be able to take action and execute on it. And by goal setting, you're going to be able to make a lot of strides. And over time, you're going to start to have a snowball effect. It starts out a little bit slower, but then after a while, you create more and more motion based on the work that you're putting in each day. And a lot of people will look at certain individuals and say, oh, they have overnight success. But if you actually look at the details of what they did each day, there's no such thing as an overnight success. It's a lot of days of hard work over and over again that reaps the rewards in the long term. So number 5 is goal setting. Number 6 is continuous learning. No matter where you are at level-wise, whether you are already very elite in your field, in whether it's athletics or in business, the best people in their fields are always trying to learn and to get better. A perfect example of this is during the NHL lockout in 2012-13, I had the privilege to train for a number of months with the Buffalo Sabres and a lot of the guys on the team. And what I noticed was, and I wasn't surprised by this at all because I had already, been on the ice with a lot of them. And each day they showed up to the rink, they were excited, they wanted to continually work on their craft, improve, get better, seek out guidance for how to get a little bit better. And the same goes for all different fields, in business or in, politics, whatever it is. People that are elite in their field still have coaches, they still have mentors. The worst thing you can do is think that you are a know-it-all in some regard. Always being able to want to continuously learn and improve and know that, hey, what I know, there's so much more I don't know. So having an open mind to continue learning is an amazing trait that I think a lot of athletes carry, and you can carry this over into the business world and it will help you a ton. These 6 traits really emphasize and show how athletes can transition into being great entrepreneurs, employees, impactful people within companies. So I hope in this video you've come to the conclusion that you either possess a number of these traits or maybe all of them. If you got any value out of this video, make sure that you hit that subscribe button below, because each week what I do here on this channel is I dive into ways for you to best be able to build online businesses. We talk tech, startups, and ways that you can take applicable action into building your own businesses online and how that relates to tech, entrepreneurship, and with a little bit of an athletic twist on it. I appreciate you taking a few minutes of time to watch this video. Have a great rest of the day, and we will see you in the next video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. See you soon. Bye.